What is the update on the Pokemon Stadium Kaizo 2 hack? So to recap, I have made a Pokemon Stadium Kaizo hack before 2020. That one has upgrades to enemy rosters with more powerful teams. There is a progression of difficulty here as you go through the cups. And similar to Emerald Kaizo's competitor, Radical Red, it is actually relatively fair compared to the handheld Kaizo hacks. So much so that if you are abusing OU teams, or in Prime Cup and Gym Leader Castle's case, Mewtwo, only the Master Ball divisions and Petite Cup will provide any challenge. In response to all this, I have been working on another Pokemon Stadium hack, this time with gym leaders in every battle. The process involves a ton of play testing with the most broken, overpowered Pokemon allowed in each division. At the time of March 12th, 2021, I have Petite Cup complete, both rounds, and I also have Poke Cup complete, also both rounds, and Prime Cup is complete as well, but only in round 1. I have teams set up for the rest of the cups, as well as Gym Leader Castle, but these teams haven't been stress tested yet. I really want to make this as difficult as possible. The reason being, 3 versus 3 is very different from 6 versus 6, something even Smogon has not been able to sufficiently cover. Substitute is broken beyond belief, making Mewtwo almost uncounterable. Sleep has been reduced to only 1 to 3 turns, which in a 6 versus 6 stadium format is useless, but in 3 versus 3, only 2 Pokemon are usable. By that logic, 2 Pokemon out of 6 would have been incapacitated, and paralysis and even confusion in particular is devastating as a result. Wrap has to be nerfed due to the 3 versus 3, even Hyper Beam mechanics, where if it misses, you would have to recharge. There's simply no viability for Hyper Beam in a 6 versus 6. But only 2 or 3 Pokemon can utilize this in a 3 versus 3 as an explosion alternative. Aerodactyl for its unmatched speed and power, Dodrio for its sheer power, and Tauros for its combination of the two. That said, there are more
degenerate strategies
that are open to all, according to my eternal rival DingDongGames. The most notable being OHKO moves. The accuracy is the same, but now it's only 3 Pokemon, making it even more devastating. Are you doing a Kaizo hack of Pokemon Stadium 2? At some point in the distant future. There are obstacles though. In the rules, there are certain Pokemon that are banned from certain cups. I need to update those. If you know anyone that can help me update that through hex editing, or if they create a program that does the job for me, please let me know. For Little Cup, I need to ban Scyther, no questions asked. Find a hex edit byte that can remove Scyther, otherwise players will abuse this, and possibly Chansey due to the Goldberry. For Gym Leader Castle, I need to remove Lugia, Ho-Oh, Mewtwo, Celebi, and Mew. As I know players will abuse this, the gym leaders cannot handle these Pokemon. Challenge Cup is something that needs customization on what Pokemon are allowed, what movesets are used, what the trainers like to use 90% of the time, etc. My video Pokemon Stadium 2 Challenge Cup Hacking Episode 1 displays what I mean. My only other method is to give enemies very overpowered teams in comparison due to the lack of restriction. For example, making it so Gym Leader Castle utilizes several Uber Pokemon, but also giving big Little Cup Pokemon to the enemies in Little Cup. That would be the only way to provide a sort of fair challenge on equal footing. I may make multiple versions of these Pokemon Stadium hacks myself for different flavors, since there aren't many Pokemon Stadium hacks present. With some Patreon support, I might even make a website exclusively to host Pokemon Stadium hacks. When is Platinum Kaizo coming out? Probably in 2022, based on the amount of work I have to do in real life. There has to be documentation, and in Platinum's case, a powerful computer just to run the game and test it. This one is going to be more difficult for me to work on, and due to all the moves, all 493 Pokemon, and all those movesets, this may take me all year to do. Everyone knows how much effort it took to get past Emerald Kaizo. When it began trending, it took 6 months for a Nuzlocke to be successfully completed by Gion, and that was possible with 6 months of data mining everything from Emerald Kaizo, including the natures, which I was completely unaware of, and therefore unable to edit. No other hard hack, not even Blue Kaizo, Crystal Kaizo, or Naturia, had this level of collective strategizing and scouting. If there was one Pokemon hack that deserves the title as the hardest Pokemon ROM hack in the entire world, it would be Emerald Kaizo. Several notorious hard hacks had to update just to compete with the Kaizo trilogy. But why? Because I took even longer to plan it out, with documentation, all the teams I would face, and to test those teams thoroughly, and see what overpowered Pokemon could get through. I looked at other hacks, I learned from Nuzlocks and YouTube videos. I practiced on Pokemon Showdown, all those false swipe gaming videos, which were a big help for the Stadium Kaizo hacks. I even dug deep into the Nuzlocke forums just for documentation. That's where I learned cheese strats from those Nuzlockers. So I took the effort to remove the cheese strats, even troll them for discouragement. But most importantly, Pokemon Dark Rising was a major factor into my later hacks. I'm aware of that game's infamy as the hardest game, quote unquote, in the 2010s. I'm aware of its numerous flaws. Half of the audience loved Dark Rising, while the other half, noticeably in the Nuzlocke forums, despise it and mock it, to the point where they got into a fight with the creator. The comment that got to me was, even I could make a better story than this. Enter Dark Rising Kaizo, which turned out to be important for Emerald Kaizo's development. It was there I had fun experimenting with
degenerate strategies,
degenerate strats for the bad guys, and coverage from the boss teams. And I even had fun remapping and doing story edits and text edits. It was complete torture. Let me tell you, it was absolute torture to edit all the text, and it hurt even more when they often just vanish. My edits may have added some more glitches. I had to perform sprite edits because I couldn't stand looking at the Yu-Gi-Oh sprite. That sprite edit was important for Magma admin Courtney, who was not found at all in the Emerald ROM. She was found in the Sapphire, for crying out loud. Yes, Dark Rising Kaizo is not my best work, but it was very important to improve my skills, and it provided a learning experience. And the skills I honed in making Dark Rising Kaizo were put to good use. I will need all the skill necessary to test and edit Platinum Kaizo. One mechanic I need is some way to do level caps on the boss fights. I will need to see what moveset changes could be done. Map edits might be minimal. Don't make me edit the 7th gem. That honestly was the hardest puzzle I ever played through in the normal games. It took longer than all the other puzzles as I was growing up on my first time. So, we'll have to focus on the boss fights, which is tough because Garchomp and Infernape are overpowered offensively, and there are defensive steel types that do throw the coverage off for the first time ever. I really was honestly ready to stop at Emerald Kaizo. Make that my finale. If you fought the secret boss in Emerald Kaizo, you would know that would be the case. I wasn't expecting such fan reaction wanting me to make more, but just as many people were struggling to grind throughout the game, unnecessarily I might add, it took longer, and life is kind of kicking everybody's asses. That's why I said 1,111 subscribers would be the goal to start with Platinum Kaizo. Well, Pokemon Challenges is a great dude, he really is. I always been thinking of improving Platinum teams way before then, but it wasn't really going to start until I grew older and more financially secure, especially in one of the most hellish places on Earth. Blue Kaizo was born out of a bleak period of time for me, college struggles. but it was so much fun to edit and playtest, and thus began everything. Why have I stopped making videos for over 6 months? What would you consider to be the perfect Generation 1 all-poison type team? In-game, the Ghosts, even Haunter plus Gengar. Tentacruel, a Nidoking or Nidoqueen, Victory Bell, and the Exploders, Muck and Weezing. That team can beat a Mewtwo and a team of Psychic types in-game, and I got the video proof. As for a mono poison for competitive, Glare Arbok, Stun Spore Sleep Powder Victory Bell, obviously with Wrap, Gengar, Nidoking, Tentacruel, and Muck. You will need Exploders for Alakazam, Earthquake, and Psychic. Don't expect to win often if there are more Psychic types and Chansey, but they will put up a better fight than a mono fire type team in competitive, I can assure you. Please pardon the low quality of the Stadium 1 Poison monotype. I have been around YouTube for over 10 years, even longer as a typical YouTube commentator. What are your dumbest mistakes you made in the Pokemon games when you were younger? First time ever playing, I fainted the Pokemon thinking that's how you catch Pokemon. That's how it seemed in the anime. I didn't have access to the internet, only television. Lord, I feel so old. For a while, I had an insanely over-leveled Venusaur with Cut and 3 grass moves. I also fainted the legendary birds, Mewtwo, and saved the game. I never redid the game for a good 2 years. I only learned how to catch Pokemon by looking at the old man throwing the Pokeball item at the Weedle. He was optional. I didn't know how to play my first time. So if you're upset about the hand-holding, keep in mind my mistakes are why tutorials are mandatory for newcomers. Even in my young age, I had some influence with how Pokemon games are made. Yay! You all got some anime recommendations? Because you bitch me some weeb shit to keep me distracting during quarantine. Does it involve going to Showdown with me, Weedle Twineedle? No? Pokemon Generations, the newest one with the short episodes, is a good one. Battle me on Showdown, please. Post-game questions, tickets, and bug fixes. So for the tickets, they only work after you beat the Pokemon League, and you will have to enter the area the tickets are located in to trigger the events. Beating the Pokemon League opens a lot of the areas that are blocked off and locked. Try to stick to one ticket at a time. It is the first time I ever got ticket events to work. Won't that be fun trying to get Darkrai, Shaman, Manaphy, and Arceus to work? Emerald Kaizo Bugfixes is changing some locations of TMs that aren't supposed to be. Always check and update hacks to keep them challenging and bug-free, but always have backups. This is the most important thing about ROM hacking, video editing, and computers in general. The greatest fix. Always, always, always have backups. Back up your files, back up your documents, back up your footage, back up your uploads, back up your cloud with an external hard drive, back up those hard drives with one more hard drive. This is the most essential thing you need as a developer, the ability to store a couple of external backups, because anything that can go wrong will go wrong. When testing the game, make multiple saves at checkpoints. I made checkpoints for every boss fight, multiple folders, and a fair number of USB hard drives. Where are you on Discord? Sorry that I have not been on Discord very often. Ever since that horrible computer crash, I had so much downtime, and I, like everyone hit by the pandemic, I had to adapt my station for remote work. That takes up some processing power, and my budget isn't like that of a YouTuber with millions of subscribers. I'm not that famous, though my hacks are. And due to fair use laws and copyright, I can never fund or profit in any way off my hacks. If Game Freak wants to borrow ideas from ROM hacks, notably Dark Rising, they have every right to do so, especially when the online Pokemon fanbase keeps ragging on Game Freak for their titles. However, if I can get enough Patreon funds, I can set up a Discord, but I can't stream because my place doesn't have an Ethernet port. Is there a scarier move to face than self-destruct and explosion? That is a very good question. For the most part, no. Unless it is Destiny Bond or horn drilling moves. Anyway, once the website gets up, you can see the transcripts. If you have any more questions next time, I'll be sure to do another video on them.